Does anyone have a question? No, it's nice when there are questions, and they always lead to a whole different level in the meditation class. And as I said the other day, many times these Q&A sessions, the energy is even stronger than the regular class. So I look forward to it, but I can also understand the energy, the power, the Shakti that is transmitted in these classes. I mean, it demands inner quiet. It even demands that questions, are not superficial questions. They really come from a place inside, deep inside a human being, a place where one truly is working on changing in themselves. Does anyone have a question?
Stuart, I have a question.
Yes, Bob?
Nityananda is closely aligned with your birth, his samadhi.
Yeah.
And how is, I know that Nityananda was a very important part of Rudi's life and your life. Can you talk a bit about that?
Well, Nityananda basically saved Rudi's life. Rudi was told by psychics in New York that he has to leave New York. He has to give up his business. He has to give up his life in New York, go to New Zealand and meet some practitioner of a thing called Park Subud. I'm not even sure what it is. And he gave up everything, Rudi. This psychic told him that if you stay here another 3, 4 months, he said you will most likely die. So he gave up everything. He closed his business. He just left. Went to India on a stop before he would fly to New Zealand. And he was staying with some friends in Mumbai, and then it was known as Bombay. And one of his friends says, we have to go see the Swami out in Ganesh Puri. It's about a 2-hour drive, Swami Nityananda. So Rudi said, okay. And they drove out there. And Rudi told me, he said he was within, a couple of miles of Ganesh Puri. And he began to feel all the tension inside him dissolve, all the angst, you know, uh, the problems he was having with what the psychic told him. It all began to dissolve. And when he finally came into the presence of Swami Nityananda, his entire heart was open. He bought they sell those flower malas, you know, and bowed to him, presented to him, did not even open his mouth. But the presence of Swami Nitya completely transformed Rudi inside, totally transformed him. It gave him a whole new dimension of looking at his life. And he decided that he doesn't have to go to New Zealand. Stopped teaching. He was teaching this Kundalini meditation in New York. He gave up everything. Now, it's not easy to give up everything. Most people refuse to give up anything. You know, their goal is comfort, satisfaction. Rudi's goal was connection with God, a spiritual life. And he said to himself, whatever I have to do to get that connection, I will do it. I mean, I was with him when he offered Swami Muktananda his business. He offered him everything. And he said, all I want in return is a connection with God. So he told Swami Muktananda. I was with Rudi when he did that. So that's how that connection began. And Rudi met him once, Swami Nityananda. I think he went back to Ganesh Puri about a year later, and Swami Nityananda had taken his samadhi. But the presence at that moment when Rudi was on his way to New Zealand of Swami Nityananda, it completely transformed Rudi's life. And it transformed Rudi's life because he was willing to give up everything in order to find a connection with God. Now, that's a very difficult thing to do. There aren't many people in the world that function that way. I mean, you find them, they live by the Ganges, the Nagababas, and, you know, they went through the whole family thing and then gave it up and became a beggar. I mean, you see it in India where people do stuff like that. And this country is a whole other story, you know? And I never forget, you know, when Muktananda was in America, he literally took Nityananda out of Rudi, the soul force of Nityananda out of Rudi. Why he did this, I could never figure out. But Rudi looked at me with a smile on his face and Stuart, he took it out of me and I'm going to put it inside of you. That's what he told me. And he did. Nityananda, oh, he saved my ass a lot too, I tell you. In forcing me to just give up any preconception I would ever have of what a spiritual life is. And just learning how to surrender and let go. I mean, I've told the story, you know, where Muktananda, we were having a satsang in Dallas at the Hilton Hotel every day and kept asking me, when are you going to come to Ganesh Puri to see me? Every satsang, he asked me that question. And I would say, Baba, I don't know. Day after day, I would say, Baba, I don't know. And I remember I knew he was going to ask me this question again. And I went back to my hotel room, sat down, and Nityananda came out of my heart. He was sitting on the bed right in front of me. And he said to me, Stuart, you will go to Ganesh Puri when Rudi sends you to Ganesh Puri. And that was, I mean, it was like such a spiritually correct, politically correct answer. I could not believe it when I heard it. I said, that's the answer. And it was the answer because, you know, Muktananda was tearing apart Rudi's ashram. All Rudi's students stopped being Rudi's students. We're now Baba's students. It got crazy there, you know? And I was probably the only one who said to Muktananda, look, you are not my teacher. But I had to do it in a politically, spiritually correct way. And when he asked me that question again, I said to him, Baba, I will go to Ganesh Puri when Rudi sends me to Ganesh Puri. And what I was telling Muktananda is, you're not my teacher. Rudi is my teacher. I mean, it was amazing. And all of that came through my connection to Swami Nityananda. And then I remember being out in the corridor of the hotel, and one of Muktananda's disciples came up to me. Baba wants to see you in his hotel room. So I said, okay. I walked into the hotel room, and I'll never forget this. He gave me an exquisite orange silk robe. Muktananda did. And he said to me, you will be a great teacher someday. And he said that to me because he understood what it means to have devotion to your guru. He talked about it all the time. The guru is God. You got to worship the guru. And if you worship the guru, you'll get your enlightenment. Well, I mean, Rudi's whispering in my ear while we're sitting and listening to a lecture. God is God. The best a guru can do is be the servant of God and a servant of his students. Now, the humility of, I'm not right. Well, Muktananda was talking that way about the guru being God. All of this came through Nityananda. It was like a protective force. And his samadhi is on the 8th, say 2 days before my birthday. I think we'll have a special vegetarian dinner here. A lot of some Indian food. I don't know, we'll do something. Anyway, I have a lot of stories like this, Bob, and all of them had to do with me learning how to surrender unconditionally. I mean, it had to do with when I went to college. I went back to college. It was the last thing in the world I ever wanted to do. And Baba told, Swami Muktananda or Nityananda told me, you know, get a master's degree. If you get a master's degree, Rudi will be responsible to teach you everything that he knows because you're listening and you're doing what he's asking you to do. I went back to Rudi. Never forget it. When he told me this, I was so upset. But he said, I want you to get a master's degree. I was so upset. I went to the meditation room. Then I started to laugh. I'm sitting there doing the meditation that he taught me to learn how to not be upset about him. You know, it was fantastic. And then kept saying, Nityananda, he came out of my heart again. And he said, what can go? Listen to Rudi. You will get teachings that you'll never dreamed of. And I went back to Rudi's gallery, about a half hour later. I gave him a big hug and I said, thank you. And his response to that is, I didn't think you would get it this quickly. That was his response. I didn't think you would get it this quickly. Because I was really pissed off when I used to teach. When he left New York, I would teach the classes. And he said, not only do I want you to get a master's degree, you're no longer going to be a teacher in the ashram. He took everything away from me. And I went back and I said, thank you. Thank you. The blessing of Swami Nityananda. He said, if Rudi took your teachings away, okay. Now you can grow in an organic way. You can grow. And instead of wanting this thing about being a guru, you'll grow organically for the first time in your life. I went back and thanked Rudi. I mean, that's what it is to have, you understand, a lineage of teachers. They're there to help not only me, but all of you. They are there to help all of us evolve. And they have answers to our quandaries, our questions. and you get real answers, not stuff that you make up in your head. Rudi once told me, he said, Stu, the only reason, you're such a schmuck, Stuart. He really told me this. The only reason I keep you around here is that you remind me of Swami Nityananda when he was a young man. He really told me this. He said, that's the only reason I keep you here. I said, Rudi, it's a pretty good reason. I mean, my God, you couldn't have given me a greater compliment while calling me a schmuck. It was a great education from all of them that I got. It was a great, and life was different then. I wasn't teaching classes on Zoom, and it was all there, and one had to learn how to, the first thing Rudi tells you is, please ask me to open, surrender, and grow spiritually. Understand, one had to surrender and grow spiritually and not sit in judgment according to one's own sense of reality, because none of our realities is worth, anything. It's like about 5% of consciousness or realities. And these higher beings, they come down and they really cut through one's reality and give you real answers to your questions. But you got to build a system inside that is strong enough to do it and has the depth of need to have a spiritual life that's so profound that you listen to those answers. You don't fight with them. I know better. And just to finish this, Rudi met Nityananda once. It was enough to completely transform his life. He went back from Bombay to New York, resumed what he was doing, teaching this amazing thing he was teaching, that I don't think anybody in the world taught anything like it. And it opened the door for me to learn all this. I needed training. I needed to learn how to develop a chakra system that was strong enough to be able to listen to higher energy in the universe, to go to a place of myself where I get real answers. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? Good question, Bo. I think people must think I planned you there to ask me questions.
Well, you did.
That was the best, Stuart. Thank you. I loved listening to this.
You're welcome, Heidi. You're welcome.
It was absolutely beautiful, Stuart. I love all of your stories.
Thank you. And Christine, it is so good to see you doing this well. God bless you, dear. Keep growing. You're such a
I will.
transformed person that I don't even recognize you, frankly. You're so transformed. It's so beautiful to see. So keep
Thank you.
growing, dear. You're
And I
welcome.
thank you for the initial change in God for saving me. And I want you to know that. And that's why I keep coming back. And I'm so grateful for your work, Rudi's work, how do I pronounce?
Nityananda.
Nityananda's work. It continuously transforms me into a better person day by day. And I'm very grateful.
Thank you, dear. God bless you. Continue
You're
growing.
welcome.
You're doing wonderfully.
Thank you.
Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? Okay, if there are no more questions, oh, just one thing. Well, not this Wednesday, but next Wednesday, I have to have a wisdom tooth pulled out. So, there will be class, but I doubt if I'm going to be teaching it. It's a pretty painful thing, but I have to do this. It's that part of me dealing with the material world, and all the nonsense that happens. But there will be class. I just doubt if I'll be the one teaching. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? Okay, thank you. God bless you. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you. Thank you for that question, Bob. It's just wonderful. And I'm looking forward to seeing everybody. There'll be class tomorrow at 1 o'clock and on Wednesday at this time. God bless you all.
Thank you very much, Stuart.
Thank you, Stuart.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.